We lie, we cheat, we steal. What is up, guys? It's me, the ALE Double X Prince. As it looks like I'm crying, it's because I just watched the Eddie Guerrero tribute. I do have this habit of watching it every time, it happens. The one in 2005, where we had people just talking about Eddie, and then we had that epic match between Shawn Michaels and Rey Mysterio. That is just a show I just like love to watch, just because how meaningful it was that they put a guy like Eddie Guerrero, like how much this man meant to us. And it's been 15 years since it happened. And we still talk about it to this day because this one meant a lot to us, especially here in California. We are from the world of Mexico. Like, we always want, and even Vince McMahon has always wanted to do like a Mexican top level star. And I'm pretty sure that was gonna be Eddie Guerrero. Unfortunately, after his passing, they kind of like had to like find someone, and who better than one of the biggest sellers when it came to merch, Rey Mysterio. And around the time when I was watching wrestling, I wasn't really following it as much as I do today. Um, it was I remember watching WrestleMania 21 with one of my friends, just for funsies. Um, like he actually, like, it wasn't live. Like, he actually owned, like, this is how old school we were. But we actually used to have like VHS players still. Like 2005, we still used to have VHS players, and I guess he bought WrestleMania 21, and then he recorded it via VHS. Like, that's how old school we were. But yeah, he recorded WrestleMania 21 on a VHS, so we got to see the whole live, no like extra like editing like compared to now. And it was a very big moment. Like, I remember my friend was like passionate to show me this show. Like, you're gonna love it. And sure enough, the first match that came out was Eddie and Ray, and that was a great match that I truly enjoyed. And then I started kind of getting hooked on it, but then I found out that one of my favorites, Eddie Guerrero, died, and I was like, oh, it's really hard to kind of like sit through, wrestling knowing that one of your top guys died. And then little by little, I kind of stopped watching wrestling around. Like, I got to see Rey Mysterio get the title. Like, that was a great moment. That was awesome. Um, in retrospect, it wasn't that big of a, or like that great of a title run. Everybody can agree that Rey Mysterio as a world champion fucking sucked the first time, at least. But when I honestly, like, I just didn't really follow wrestling all that much, and I really did not follow wrestling knowing what happens in 2007 with Benoit. Um, the whole tragedy there, which is a separate video in its own, which I honestly have never talked about that moment. Crazy enough, like, as much as a wrestling channel this is, I've never made a Chris Benoit video ever, and I don't plan to anytime soon. I really don't want to talk about this, and I don't want to get off topic. This is strictly an Eddie Guerrero video, but to me, Eddie was one of those guys that died way too young. Like, he could have kept going. He could have been the world champion again. He could have main evented a WrestleMania. I think he could have maybe main evented WrestleMania maybe 26. No, he could have been up there as one of those guys that main evented WrestleMania. I don't know which one, but it would have happened. And I just think of all the matches he could have had if he was still around. Shawn Michaels, The Undertaker, um, even modern day guys like AJ Styles. Speaking of, let's see, AJ Styles. Something that has always scared me is, would he still be around now? Like, this guy could have been like 50 years old. Like, would he be like Undertaker, where he's there like for like an infinity amount of time? But I think after a while, like, the thing that kind of kept him like from like not staying in wrestling as much as possible would probably be his family. He loved Vicky, he loved everybody, he loved his family so much, and he was willing to just like hang up the boots and just do the thing he does best, and that is like make the next upcoming stars. um so yeah, I didn't grow up with Eddie Guerrero. Everybody I know older than me grew up with Eddie Guerrero. Um, so I have a friend who is a diehard fan of WCW, and he loved the cruiserweight division at the time. He actually his favorite match was not the Halloween Havoc one. It was the EC. It was one of the ECW matches between him and Malenko. That was his favorite. If you're wondering what the hell is my favorite Eddie Guerrero match, there's countless. I can't name them from the top of my head. I guess I would have to go with either. See, I want to say Halloween Havoc, which is like the obvious answer, but to me, I didn't grow up with that match. Like I don't know what match I would. I'd probably say Brock and Eddie because that's the one where he won the title. But that was just a big moment. So maybe I could say that one. Yeah, I'll go with that one. Eddie and Brock. That was a fantastic match, and that's another thing. If Brock Lesnar stuck around, I'm pretty sure he would be just as devastated for Eddie because Eddie was that guy that just got everybody motivated. Like, come on, you're the champion. Let's stay on top. Like, I remember an interview where Batista, actually in his documentary, I Walk Alone, he mentioned like, yeah, like when I got drafted to SmackDown, nobody liked me, but Eddie was so nice to me. It was the only real friend I got, and then um, life took him away from me, and that was horrible. And that is just the kind of guy that you want in a WWE locker room because, like, with Vince McMahon now being the fucking asshole that he is, he just fired Zelina Vega, for those of you who didn't know that. But to me, this guy was super important to the business in the sense, like, he didn't need to be the main event star, didn't need to be the top level player, but he needed to be there to keep everybody going. I'm pretty sure that's why he was pushed to the way he was. Not just because of his charisma, not just because he was a fantastic wrestler, not just because he could get over with the audience, but because the guy gave a shit. And it's something that I kind of miss in wrestling when people just were willing to like help out the rest of the locker room, and it's like, okay, let's put on a great show and stuff like that. That is the kind of person you're gonna need, not just in wrestling but in life. And Eddie, you know, I've fun fact, I've actually met Chavo Guerrero once at a AAA event in Tijuana, Mexico. Uh, yeah, AAA. It was I remember like he was one of the headlines. It was him and Hernandez versus Octagon, and I forgot who the other guy was. But I remember like afterwards, like it was a kind of a small venue. Like they actually were like talking to us. So I met Hernandez and Chavo Guerrero, and Chavo is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Like I mean, I've heard interviews where he's been like, or like I've heard like talks where he was like mad at people backstage. I mean, it happens. But if you ever get the chance to meet Chavo Guerrero, he's a nice guy. He loved talking about Eddie Guerrero. Like I personally do not like to like bring up people like that died in their past just because it could either lead to a very like tragic conversation. Like I was afraid that Chavo was gonna like just break into tears right there. But I mean he was upset obviously that he's gone, but he just loved talking about Eddie. Like and that is what is something that's great like about I mean it's not great that people die, but it's always great when people can just openly just speak about how much they impact to them. Like I lost a couple of uncles in the past and I love talking about them, not because it's upsetting, but because they were great people. And that is what Eddie was to Chavo. So yeah, even Ray, who is my hometown hero, the guy he uses the frog splash as tribute to Eddie. Like that became one of his signature moves, and I'm pretty sure Dominic is gonna take that as well. And that is just how great Eddie was. Like he didn't need to be the world champion. It was great that he became world champion, but really he just was a guy who was willing to do it all, put people over, get people over, lying, cheating, and stealing. We'll miss you, Eddie Guerrero. We'll always miss you. So, anyways, It's made me the ALE double X Prince. Just giving you my 2 cents about my memories about Eddie Guerrero. And until then, I'm out.